Well, that means you're on the John Fredericks Radio Network, the John Fredericks Radio app, and I am your Godzilla of the truth in America, your oracle of the deplorables. Thanks for being with
Microphone.
us today. As always, I should put my microphone on, right? No question about it. That will probably be helpful. Thank you, Tyler. Joining me now, Doug Mastriano, State Senator, Pennsylvania, might run for governor, MAGA Central. Doug, thanks for being with us today.
Good morning, John. Thanks for having me back, as always.
Lots to talk about, Doug. First of all, though, how's your family? How's Reba?
Yeah, Rebby is doing well. My family's doing fantastic. You know, we're rolling into the fall season, so lots of yard work out there, but it's a mild fall. I'm glad when the leaves finally get down. We're probably about 70% done. It's a mess.
Doug out there raking the leaves like a good husband, right? Got his honey-do list going. So I got one of those, Doug, and it's a never ending list. You think you get to the bottom, and then there's another page. It never ends. So I get it. So Doug, let me ask you this. So we had these elections. We got a lot to talk about, Doug.
Wow.
So we had these elections, and Virginia blown out, New Jersey blown out, Georgia loses 2 public service commissioner seats. Never been done. They get beat and blown out. And Pennsylvania, vote no, gets blown out. So we were like, and then of course we elect the communist in New York City. What's your take?
You know, for Pennsylvania specifically, John, it's about the grassroots and the activities of the state party over the past year. You and I have debated and discussed this many, many times. It's alienated the grassroots. They're not getting out the vote. That's one. So we don't have a motivated grassroots. You know, and secondly, of course, it's normal to have a low turnout in these off years because Trump's not on the ballot, but this is a disaster. Let's talk about some of the county. We lost Westmoreland County. It went blue, which is a solid Republican outside of Pittsburgh. You know it well. We lost Bucks County. It's now run by Democrats. The first time in a century that the Democrats have run this year. I don't get this, John, because everything in Pennsylvania is trending Republican. We're now within 53,000 or so votes of becoming a Republican state. Everything is trending Republican. How the heck did this happen? This is a bit suspicious to me. But one thing I do know is not enough of us get out to vote in these off-year cycles.
So, like Senator Roth, like Greg, nice guy, really do like him, and I know he's your colleague. I like Senator Mark Peake in Virginia, really nice guy. He's a friend. He's a friend of mine. But here's the problem when state senators run parties. This is the problem. I mean, they're ineffective. They're not effective because they never grow the grassroots because they're a state senator or they're a congressman you can't run a party and have a state office. You just can't. It never works. It's failed everywhere it's been tried. You guys are not getting the grassroots. Virginia was a catastrophe. No doubt about it. Now you guys got the scam, like whatever that thing they had going on, which is like, I told Stacy, just don't even accept it. It's going to hurt you. But whatever. But I had a caller earlier asking me about this 50-cent gasoline tax. What does that do? Are you still in favor of that in Pennsylvania? Are you happy with it?
You know things are bad in Pennsylvania, John, when the People's Republic of Maryland has gas 20, 30 cents cheaper a gallon than up here. You know, we were told that I was still in the Army when this happened here. I was not in politics. I was not a senator. I was a colonel running around the world trying to keep us safe, teaching at the War College. And actually, Republicans, under Republican governor, I think it was 2015, they got together with PennDOT. Our roads in Pennsylvania suck. And they said, hey, guys, one gas tax. We promise it'll be the panacea. It'll fix our roads in Pennsylvania. We'll never ask you for money again. You know how it goes. Same old story, same old BS. So they jack up the price. At the time, it was the highest gas tax in the nation. Now we're third because Illinois and California recently beat us out. So now the third highest gas tax in the nation. And how the road's going for you. I remember in 2022, John, traveling in the state, visiting all the counties, unlike Shapiro. And I try to nod off in the RV that a friend loaned us to use as our campaign bus. And every couple minutes, I'm like jolted awake by hitting a bump. I'm like, the roads suck here. When I go to Maryland, which is just down the road from us here, if your eyes are closed, John, in the car, I'm driving, you'll know when we're in Maryland. Suddenly the roads get quiet and smooth. And so I'm not in favor of an increase. And in fact, John, couple of years back, PennDOT got together with me, and they're like, you know what? We didn't account for the effects of this gas tax. And I'm like, what? And they're like, well, people are carpooling. They're using their cars less now. So we need a a small increase. I'm like, get out of my office. There's no way in heck I'm supporting any increase. It's already too high as it is.
So they wanted an increase in the gas tax because people aren't buying enough gas.
Exactly.
But they don't want people to buy gas because it's, I don't know, climate change. So they don't want them to buy gas. But then when they don't buy gas, then they want an increase in the gas tax.
You can't make this stuff up.
So they buy less gas.
Yeah, and they're like, cars are more economically, better. They consume less gas. There's more electronic cars. So we need a higher gas tax. I'm like, get out of my office. There's no way in heck that Mastriano is going to back any of this crap. I'm saying, so, what's the so what for the people out there? Not only does it hit you in the wallet when you're at the gas pump, but everything you buy, the price is higher, is inflated because the artificial cost of gas in Pennsylvania.
Too funny. Doug, we got callers. You come on, and we've got Pennsylvania callers want to talk to the Dougster. Let's get Wendy in. Of course, if we got your wife on, my calls would be they'd be off the hook. We'd shut the phones down. Wendy in Scranton for Senator Mastriano.
Hi guys, morning, morning senators. I was reading the Post-Gazette, and we saw Republicans get blown out last week across the state. I'm just going to say it.
Yep.
Even in counties that were Trump counties. This is now the second time that Republicans here in Pennsylvania have gotten blown out under Greg Rothman. I am just concerned that, Mr. Rothman has, frankly, maybe poor judgment, and Pennsylvanians aren't going to get in line behind his pick for governor. Right now, Ms. Garrity. Can I ask, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, like you, Wendy, and thanks for pointing this out here. This is messed up because even my gubernatorial race, what the results of that did not reflect what's trending in Pennsylvania as a fact, that we're trending hard Republican. And it could be a year or so before we actually become numerically a Republican state. It just does not make sense to me. And I think some of it is leadership, because leadership, needs to do more than fundraise and hang out with the wealthy guys and get money. That's sadly necessary. But what about the grassroots? And then my thought, Wendy, in this specific case here, we did have a good message. It was no, no, no. I got it. But the message didn't get out. And on top of that, the rest of us at Grassroots, our movement, the Walk is Free People movement, Wendy, that you were part of, we didn't show up because what the party's doing, they're going to anoint a candidate. So why even have a primary? They're going to tell us who to vote for next May, 15 months before the general election here. And so it just disenfranchises us. And the people that knock on the doors aren't showing up.
Thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank you, Wendy. Thanks for calling. Nice to talk to you.
Time for change. I just, senators being party chairman, it never works. It never has worked. It never will work. Because they have 3 jobs, right? I mean, Rothman can't support himself as a party chairman or a state senator. Party chairman pays 0. State senator pays like what, Doug, in Pennsylvania, like $18,000 or something?
Oh no, it's a full-time job. It's like $100,000 or something. It's
okay.
Good pay.
Okay, so you're a state senator, you get $100,000. That's a full-time job, and now you want to go be RPV. I just, or whatever it is, Pennsylvania. I just don't get it. There's too many conflicts there. Peake's got the same thing going on in Virginia. There's just too many conflicts. Let's get to Nora in Harrisonburg for Doug. Nora, you're live.
Hi, thank you so much. I just saw the thing about the pardons today, and thank God we're protecting those folks that stood up for our democracy. And I was just thinking, I was there at that rally in Harrisburg right after they rigged the election in 2020. I know Doug was there, and I think Miss Garrity was there too. And I was just curious, do you know if it's just Doug still in this fight, or if she also still stands for election integrity, or sort of what was said back then?
Doug?
Obviously, I'll let Stacy speak for herself, but I'm all in here, and that was a good. We had a couple. We had Women for Trump come in with their bus, and we had at that same rally, if you recall, Nora, Mike Lindell was there. It was a lot of fun, and there was fiery speeches all around. And as you know, I in my capacity as a committee chair, I organized an attempt to do an audit of the votes. I had everything lined up. I was going to audit 3 counties, 2 Republican counties, and one Democrat, Philadelphia County, Tioga County, York County. I received ardent resistance from the Republican counties. Dave Sunday, our Attorney General, did scathing tweets about me, condemning my constitutional right to oversee the elections in York County, to subpoena his election records in the county. He was very strident. Tioga County, the most arguably conservative county in the state, I think Fulton is, but close to it, they also resisted because they have 3 county commissioners that are Republican, only one in the state. And obviously Philadelphia County, Krasner, they were all pushing back as well. But I was going to do it regardless of their opposition. And then had it lined up. It was going to be the 21st of August, I think the date was, of 2021. Was going to have a committee vote. I can't do it on my own. I had all the Republicans lined up to vote in support of my subpoena, to subpoena the voting records, to get to the bottom, to do an Arizona-style audit. Which I went to Arizona in June of that year to see what they had going on. Had everything lined up. And the leader of the Republican Senate, Senator Corman, he sabotaged it. He called all my committee members, Republican committee members, don't show up. The meeting's canceled. I did not cancel it, and he cannot cancel my meeting. But what he did do is he called me up saying, hey, I know I can't stop you, but I strongly urge you not to go forward with this vote. I said, Jake, I'm going forward with the vote. And so what he did the next day, he got to his office and fired me from my committee, removed my staff in Harrisburg, kicked me out of caucus, and handed the audit to somebody else who really didn't do anything with it, and the audit was dead. So Nora, we do not have voter transparency and accountability. We don't know what happened in 2020 because of fellow Republicans.
Jake the Snake.
Yeah, thank you so much, and thanks for auditing.
That was Jake the Snake, Nora.
It was.
Oh, Nora, it's too funny. So, Doug, where do we go from here? Tuesday night was a bloodbath. Now you got the government, opening up again. Final vote should come today, so that's good. 60, basically, the Republicans didn't cave. Schumer got nothing, and then his caucus folded like a cheap suit in the rain when it got a little bit tough. When you get, flights getting canceled, they weren't going anywhere, so they did the right thing. So what happens now? What's your take politically, Doug, going forward?
And we may disagree, and that's cool, John. But I think the Democrats played it to keep the shutdown going until the election. And the narrative from Donald Trump was strong. Was the Schumer shutdown. It did have the effect. But the traditional media out there was still blaming it on Republicans, and the trolls were out there blaming it on us. And, I think they got what they wanted out of it. They had a good result for them in Jersey and Pennsylvania, Virginia, and in California. And so they got 8 Democrats that bailed on Schumer. They're like, we got what we want. Why prolong this now? And so, clearly we lost in the end because we lost those states. We should not have lost the retention of those 3 Supreme Court justices in Pennsylvania. We should have won Virginia. Jersey's always a fight because it is sadly a blue state and hasn't always been, but it's disappointing. Where do we go from here? Is we need to redouble our efforts. We cannot say every 4 years, I'm going to vote every 4 years, if Donald Trump's name on a ticket and not show up the rest of the year. We have to show up every year. There's an election. Every November, there's an election. And it's local government, it's judicial seats, and we have to show up. And, Donald Trump can't do this on his own. He needs to win the state legislators. He needs to win governor seats here. And that makes his job easier to put into effect the America First policy. So it's all hands on deck.
You know what our biggest take out of Tuesday is? Number one, I got 4 takes after 6 days to reflect on it. And number one, the messaging sucked. It was just horrible.
Yep.
I don't even know what the messaging was in Pennsylvania. I really have no idea. Probably the best messaging came out of Georgia with Brian Kemp basically saying, look, they're gonna raise your utility bills with those public service commissioners. That didn't matter. They got beat 2-1. So the messaging sucked overall. I still to this day don't know why you were voting no. I mean, so somebody actually called me on election day and said, "Hey, you tell me to vote no on these judges. Well, why?" Well, like, can you explain it to me?
Oh, man,
It's like,
that's
what?
a problem. Oh, crap.
This is a listener. Like, I've already explained it 3 times. Like, there was no messaging. That was number one. Number two is they're getting better. Like, we were able to survive with the early balloting and early votes and mail-in ballots in Pennsylvania in 24 because Ashley and I and her team worked night and day on that to get to the 38% range, which was our target, which I think we were at 39%. That's one of the reasons Trump won. But this time we took our eye off the ball. They've gotten better at it. We've not gotten better. The vote harvesting they have legally, the vote harvesting with the laws that have been passed is far superior. They're getting better at it. Their micro-targeting is better. Their identifying down to the neighborhood level is better. So you got a whole GOTV issue. You got a mail-in ballot issue that we're way behind on. And then number 4, we did nothing to inspire the grassroots in any of these states. Nothing.
Yep.
Zero. I mean, their grassroots that hate Trump and the communists were inspired. We didn't do jack for any of it. And so I don't know how you're going to overcome this now in the midterms.
Yeah, I think for Pennsylvania, it stopped throwing overboard the grassroots candidate. They want the establishment absolutely does not want a Mastriano campaign. And what does the Mastriano campaign represent? It represents the people and the people's voices. You know, I'm state senator. I turned down the retirement. I'm not getting all the benefits that everyone else gets. I decline them. It was interesting. My declination, it took 3 times I had to decline it before they accepted the fact, because obviously it creates some issues for people. And so when you have a grassroots candidate, you can't control that grassroots candidate, and the grassroots candidate's in touch with the people. And if you burn the bridge with the grassroots, which they've done with us by anointing, we all like Stacey, nothing on her. The party decided to endorse 15 months out before an election. Why do we even have a primary? I can't tell you how many times I hear across the state or on my social media, which is the largest in the entire region, the Northeast region of any conservative, if people are frustrated, they're disenfranchised, and they're pissed off. And if they're disenfranchised and ticked off, they're not going to vote. And so our first step in rebuilding the party after this catastrophic failure in Pennsylvania last week is to build that bridge with the grassroots. And you have to make genuine efforts, not just lip service.
You know, I agree with you. You just can't keep doing this and think that the Republican consultants are going to win you these races without the grassroots. It's the grassroots that elected Trump, and we've got to be able to do this. It's just sad. Let's get to the phone lines. Jane in Pittsburgh for Doug. Go ahead, Jane. You're live in the Berg.
Hello. Hi, Senator. Thank you so much for taking my call. I am such a big fan, and I was just wondering if you have received any encouragement or if anyone has been asking you to run for office, because I would love a strong leader like you.
Thank you, Jane. And we need the Yinzers in Pittsburgh and Allegheny County, that's for sure. And so thank you for calling. You know, Rebbe and I are honestly praying about it. I know that that's so passe, because I don't consider myself a politician. I consider myself a public servant. But, we're praying about it. That's so passe. No, we are really seeking God on this here, because it's a life-changing decision, as we did in 2022. And, I told Rothman, Rebbe and I had Greg Rothman in. We're friends. It's just like John is with him. He's a good guy. Have a good relationship with him. And I said, we oppose your endorsement of anyone, whether it's Stacey or not, is irrelevant. If you give me the endorsement, I'll decline it. I'll go through the process like it should be. But the timing's irrelevant, Greg. I was the last guy to enter the race in 2022. And in fact, Jane, as you remember, I didn't enter the race actually until January of that year, after there's already 15, 17 candidates in. Is ridiculous. And so if we get the burden on our heart to run, we're going to run, and we will win the primary. And so if I get in the race, the plan this time will be to run the race as if we already won the primary and focus on Josh Shapiro in the statewide race rather than getting in battles with Stacey. I'll debate her. We'll have a good time and what have you. I'm not going to dodge her like Shapiro did with me, but I'll be focused on the end prize in November.
I mean, I think you should run, because I think that's going to energize the base. And look, I like Stacey, and I think it'll be a good opportunity for you guys to flush the issues out. And Shapiro's in big trouble right now because he is not going to be the nominee. I mean, I know that's his dream. It ain't going to happen. Not with, you got AOC, you got Gavin Newsom out there. He hasn't done anything. I don't even know what he's doing. Like when I was in Pennsylvania, he was governor. I could never figure out from day to day what the guy actually did.
It's funny you mentioned that because, I have these memes going out and they're cheesy memes on purpose because it pisses off the trolls. And, no budget, ask Josh, because we cannot have, look, people are, a little knowledge is a dangerous thing. John Pope wrote in 1710, the English poet. A little knowledge is a dangerous thing. I got people on my page saying, well, there's no budget because constitutionally it's the House and Senate. Yes, and it's also the governor. And the governor has been out of town. And, I've been talking to people in the room that negotiate the budget. We cannot proceed without the governor in the room. And he's out campaigning. He was in Jersey with, Abigail and having fun with Mickey in Virginia and just having a good time. And he hasn't been in town. And so while people are losing their benefits and all this bad stuff happening, the trolls, I need people on the left to open your eyes. You're being led like lemmings off the cliff here. Don't believe what you're being told here. We can't have a budget without Shapiro. We're close to one now because the election's over and Shapiro actually showed up to some of these meetings in Harrisburg. But he's been out of touch. He's been campaigning around the state, John, taking credit for other people's work here, beating his chest. He's got $1 million social media team and they suck. My memes are better than his. And, but it's all about setting conditions for his next race. I mean, it's like Mr. Bean is running his social media campaign. It's kind of embarrassing.
Doug Mastriano, thank you for being with us today, Doug. As always, people want to follow you, go to @Doug Mastriano, and you can see his cheesy ass memes @Doug Mastriano. They're hilarious. Doug, thanks for being with us.
Love you, man. Thank you.
All right. Rabbi Mencken coming up next, along with Paul Teller. Keep it right here.